Leading local tonight in our top story, travelers have packed up their bags and have their boarding passes ready to catch a flight out of town, and that is the case for many Thanksgiving travelers. As KX News' Paige Gilmar is finding out, despite a few delays going in and out of Bismarck for North Dakota travelers, it's been relatively painless. So Paige, what can you tell us?
Yes, Joel, it's been quite surprising to find out that this Thanksgiving, a lot of the nightmare scenarios that are synonymous with holiday travel, like delayed flights, like missed flights and long wait times, aren't really happening here at the Bismarck Municipal Airport. Thanksgiving has always been ranked as one of the most busy days to travel, but AAA is expecting American travelers to break a new record this holiday, estimating that close to 80 million Americans will be traveling 5 miles or more for Thanksgiving. Of this 80 million, almost 6 million are traveling by air, and at the Bismarck Municipal Airport, even North Dakota's most seasoned travelers were worried about what flying would look like the day before Thanksgiving.
The thing that always makes me nervous is the weather here is obviously not comparable to where I'm usually flying out of over in DC, so always nervous about those delayed flights and missing the flights. It's happened a few times.
I was super worried about the weather because I'm coming from Florida to a snowy region over here in North Dakota, and I worried about the roads. I worried about my getting picked up, being able to make the airplane on my way back, things like that.
Both Alvashir and Miller have had their fair share of nightmare scenarios when traveling, from canceled flights to long waiting times. But it turned out that the biggest challenge the two faced while traveling now was just the worry and anticipation itself, because
the lines were pretty easy and it was very chill, so that was very nice. And like I said, kind of a surprise from last year being much longer lines and a little more chaotic than it was this year.
It's not so bad. It's not so bad. There have been some holidays that it does get super busy. This one's been great so far. No lines, nothing.
They also say it didn't hit their wallets too hard either, which cost analyses show that while grocery prices might be up, traveling costs are down.
I'd say it stayed pretty consistent, again, depending on when I buy them. I try to buy a little ways out just to kind of save some money. I know, especially with like holidays, it's always more expensive than just a random like Tuesday flying out. So I wouldn't say big increases.
I don't think I've seen such an increase in the travel prices. I usually travel more at Christmas than Thanksgiving, but I haven't noticed anything significantly different.
But even if traveling on Thanksgiving Day may be a bit more congested, Alvashir and Miller have tips on how to stay sane when you travel.
Show up to the airport early, obviously, that's like the given.
Definitely check the weather, because during the holidays, the snow, you never know if it's going to snow or not, so always check the weather.
But they say you should also get your mind in check before you travel too.
And just being like flexible. I think sometimes you can get in your head and get stressed out, and that just makes the day even more stressful and not enjoyable to kind of like, nobody really likes to travel, nobody likes to spend the day in an airport. So just kind of taking it as it goes, and if there are delays, just figuring it out as it comes along.
And just relax. It's a holiday. Take your vacation, and if things happen, they happen.
It's also good to pack some snacks, as you don't want to end up paying top dollar just for food at the airport. It's also important to try to travel light, because you don't really want to end up in baggage claim purgatory, especially during the holidays. Now, we do have some updates on flights. Now, when it comes to flights coming from Denver, they are delayed right now coming into Bismarck. For Minneapolis, though, we're finding that a lot of the flights are coming into Bismarck early. Now we're going to toss it over to Will, who is in the Magic City.